The Seattle Seahawks are entering into a very interesting offseason. Over the last 3 years, they've won 9 games, and 10 games this last year. They're looking to break through, to become a contender, and trying to figure out how to make that happen. You flopped out offensive coordinator, certainly that will help. Now, the fan base does tend to look to see if maybe there's a way you can maybe add more talent onto the team. And at first, you look at that and you say, well, you've got negative $13.4 million. There's no way to pull that off. But indeed, the team has many different levers that they can pull, from a release of a Draymond Jones to a Tyler Lockett to both Fance to Rayshon Jenkins to Roy Robertson Harris. The team could easily, without batting an eye, free up $50 million. And so this is really not a matter of cost if the team wants to go out and be a little bit more active on the free agent market this year than they have been in years past, to actually bring on quality and not merely sign one-year deals for aging vets on their last legs, as they have been so oft to do here in recent years. And so this is a place I want to make sure that we make real clear to the fan base as we enter this offseason, because though the team may not go down this pathway of buying free agents or trying to go down that road, or they have in the past and so won't do in the future, they could if they wanted to do so. And it's really not, to me, about shotgunning the approach and looking at hammering free agency all across the board at a variety of different positions. It would more laser in onto certain positions and do what I would call the double dip. That would be to look to address this offensive line, this failing offensive line that has been in that state year after year after year in successive order here throughout these years, no matter how many games you've won. It's been something that John has just not been willing to really hammer in the way that needs to be hammered, and it's easy to see why it's so weak as it is. You spend as little money as anybody in the NFL on the position. You don't hammer it with a ton of draft picks. You're certainly not great on the drafting development side of this, as well, as that tends to be very spotty outside of even on the current roster. You got Abraham Lucas and Charles Cross as your two real guys that have developed. Everybody else has just kind of had middling results in what they've given back to you on it. And so there remains this big problematic spot on the team that if you could get this thing fixed, being that it has been the thing that has sunk so many teams like an anchor dragging down a boat beneath the waters, then maybe now this could help us rise up on the other side of it if you could take care of it in that way. And this is an interesting free agent period where you have a variety of free agents available on this interior of the offensive line that may not be Hall of Fame type guys, but really good starters and guys that would be tremendous upgrades over what you already have. Tevin Jenkins, Drew Dahlman, Ryan Kelly, another center. Everyone, of course, is aware of a Trey Smith. There's a variety of these different combinations of a couple of players in there, Micah Becton too, to where if you double dipped and signed 2 of these guys, you could really invigorate that offensive line and really bring it up to maybe even a pseudo strength of the team, depending on what they do with some of the rest of the positions on that line, specifically the one that gets left out if you didn't sign him in free agency. So this would be the way they could go to get this built fast. A big part of the problem right now with this line, of course, has been, as I said, some of the drafting and the development, and that being a slow process that John himself has pointed to even recently. But it's also then allows you to bring in vets who can allow the cohesion to kind of set quicker. You're not going to have to wait the 2-3 years for the cohesion of the youngsters to come together. Bring in vets who know what time it is, know what they need to do, and let them all kind of come together in that fashion. And as far as the ability to spend the money, yes, it's going to cost a lot to get this deal done. These are not going to be cheap deals at all. You're going to be competing with other teams that are going to be willing to put a lot of money on the table. And I understand that brings some people pause, but the team has ability to do so. That's the whole point of this video, is don't let them tell you that they don't have the money. I can show you a deal from last year, which is Creed Humphrey, maybe the best center in football, resetting the center market with a 4-year, $76 million deal. And that looks bad on the surface of it as far as the average per year basis cost. But the first year cap hit on that deal was actually about $5 million. Another guy last year who became the first $20 million a year guard, Robert Hunt with the Carolina Panthers. Yeah, that's a big deal on the surface of it, but you only had him down about $6.5 million on the first year of that cap hit. So think about that kind of from a collective standpoint. If you did want to kind of double dip on 2 of these free agents in this class to really upgrade this offensive line, you could get it done. Is there more money that gets pushed down the year span that you're going to have to pick that up in 27 and 28? Sure. But currently right now, the Seahawks have a top 4 amount of cap space for next year, 2026, and then they have the second amount most of cap space in 2027 as it currently stands. So you can get all of the normal order of business done this offseason. Yes, you can get the extensions done to Geno and DK and Ernest Jones, and that really isn't going to affect any of this because all of that basically kind of, in a way, for 2025 at least, collectively pays for itself. You save $5 million on the 2025 cost for Geno. You save $5 million on a DK cost for 2025. If you put them onto new contracts, that $10 million can then go over there to Ernest Jones, who basically eats most of that up, and then you get a little bit left over to add on to that other sum of those releases that I mentioned earlier earlier here in the video. So the team has the means. Will they go down this road? Will they not? I don't know, but they do have the means. It all boils down to the team's true intent, and not some slogan they're trying to sell us like, always compete. John Schneider, do you truly want to contend this next year? Are playoffs the goal, or is contention the goal? Do you want to finally acknowledge this decade-long blind spot? If so, then make these moves, solve this issue, and stop seeing your team sunk every damn single season from the same problem. The fool is not the man who gets things wrong. The fool is the man who gets things wrong over and over and over again, doing it the exact same way, expecting a different result. Let's hope this offseason that John's finally done playing the part of the fool. My name is Brandon Kane. This is the Hawks Nest. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe. But beyond all that, don't you ever forget, go Hawks.